I wish that people on the left and the people on the right would dedicate 1 week, hell, 1 day to criticize their own side. I know, everybody's saying stuff about current events, and I just want to throw my 2 pieces in. I'm going to try to be careful not to repeat things that other people have said. I'll probably be doing a few videos, 2 or 3 at least, before I move on to talking about movies. There are a lot of people that are transitioning from the left to the right. They're going from Democrats to Republicans. And I'm not here to discourage or to encourage that. All I want to do is offer a bit of caution, because simply changing affiliations with a political party is not going to be the answer. Don't expect a perfect party. Don't expect salvation by becoming a Trump supporter or you want to make America great again. Let's say everybody did become Republican, or everybody in the country did become Democrat. We would still have issues. There would still be violence and anger. It's not going to fix anything, because I guarantee you those people are not going to agree with everything that the Republican Party claims to stand for. And in the end, both sides still harbor deep levels of corruption. For instance, I personally don't think that babies should be aborted. However, I understand the mentality of the left saying, well, then why bring a child into this world if, they're just going to grow up in the streets, or they're just going to be stuck in an orphanage moving from home to home? I get that. And so I say to people that are adamantly against abortion, why aren't you adopting kids from the orphanages? Why aren't you becoming foster parents? It's so stupid, because if every God-fearing Republican adopted a child, there would still be millions of Republicans not without child, and the orphanages would be empty. Where's the math? Let's look at the math. So there's roughly like 3.2 million orphans in America alone. Well, according to my friend Chat, it says here that there are 35 to 37 million Republicans, and those are just the ones that are registered in the country. I'm just saying that if every God-fearing Republican signed up to be a foster parent, took adoption classes, adopted a child, there would be 34 million Republicans waiting to adopt a child, because the 3 million orphans have already been adopted. That's really sad math. That is pathetic. So yeah, I do believe that you should have the right to speak out against abortion. But are you willing to back that up? Are you willing, do you have an extra room in your house to take one of these kids in? There's a lot of people on the right and the left that have adopted children, but we can't do it alone. We need everybody else to join in. God-fearing Republicans that are trying to cushion their retirement plan, they have their eye on that next yacht they want to buy. I'm not saying that's horrible, but I am saying it is pretty horrible if you're not adopting a child first, or being a part of the community to help in any way you can with the orphans or the homeless. So it's both and. Every time you look at a political issue, it's both and. Every time, without question. I don't think it's at all appropriate that we're rounding up immigrants like cattle and trucking them back to their country, or stuffing them in a camp down in Florida. I don't think that is appropriate at all. So why not meet in the middle? Like, we have one side saying, let's keep them all here. Great. We have the other side saying, let's ship them all back. Okay, let's meet in the middle. How about instead of meeting the immigrants with handcuffs, we meet them with a paper. We say, fill this out. We make on the spot, we make them American citizens. They are now tax-paying citizens. We don't have to pay all the money for the gas or the trucks or the manpower to ship them back down to Mexico or wherever they're from. We're just paying Kinkos to print a whole lot of paper, and we're handing them out. And then they become tax-paying citizens, and guess what? Everybody wins, and the tomatoes still get picked. It goes both ways. So, again, for those of you going from the left to the right, you're not going to find salvation there. You're not going to find a perfect party. And you are allowed to speak up against the things that you don't like. In fact, I wish with all my heart that the people on the left and the people on the right would dedicate 1 week, hell, 1 day to criticize their own side, to criticize their own leaders, to criticize their own beliefs. Because when we just fight back and forth, nothing gets done but more deaths, more hatred, more poison, more toxins. But if we take the time to face inward and really hone in to where the hypocrisies are in our own system of belief, in our own churches, in our own parties, in our own friend groups, our own neighborhoods, then I think the two sides can come back together and say, and start negotiating, starting to meet in the middle. Here's a fun fact. Whether you're pro Second Amendment or against it, most people have the same desire for the same resolution to not see people killed in the end of the day. I see videos of Charlie Kirk saying, if we're going to have the Second Amendment, yes, unfortunately, some people are going to die. And I'm not going to argue that. He's right. Because what you can also say is if you do get rid of the Second Amendment, people will still die. Whether we uphold the Second Amendment or not, people are still going to die and get murdered. The biggest catastrophe to take place on American soil, you know what I'm talking about, 9/11 had no guns involved. And yet it had the most destructive mortality rate that our country has ever seen on its soil. Except for maybe Gettysburg. I don't know the numbers. The Boston Marathon bombing. No guns. Iryna Zarutska. It wasn't a gun. That's one of those images I don't think we'll ever get out of our heads, and I hope we don't. It's more than just a precious young girl that was killed brutally and alone. But she symbolizes everybody. Black, white, immigrant, citizen, Democrat, Republican. And she symbolizes everybody that faces that in their future or has had to face that. She symbolizes the Breonna Taylors who did not deserve to get shot. She symbolizes so many unjustified murders. A majority of us are comparing ourselves to Charlie Kirk. We're saying that I am Charlie, but we can't forget that Iryna was one of our daughters. We were supposed to protect her. We were supposed to be there for her. We were supposed to have the barriers set in place for her to be protected and safe so she could go on living a long and glorious and prosperous life. But because we were so busy fighting with each other outside the bus, we missed it. We missed it. I'm going to do a reaction video on some people calling out Erica Kirk on her speech. I hope you tune in for that. Please. Stop hating each other. Try to understand each other. We're in a bad place. We are in a bad place, and the only thing we can do is to find out how to meet in the middle. I'll see you in the next one.